Floodwater suddenly poured in from nowhere, with terrible speed and power, sweeping away everything in its path. You can see, before our eyes, the house was swept away by the current in just a few short minutes. This scene is truly too horrifying, too scary. The house, which was once the home of many families, is now just a pile of rubble swept away by the current. Huge blocks of rock are continuously falling from the cliffs, creating a scene of flying dust and a shocking sound throughout the area. An extremely large block of rock fell right on the road below. Luckily, in the most dangerous moment, a car was able to brake just before hitting the rock. If we were just a little slow, we would have witnessed an unimaginably tragic accident. Thousands of tons of rock and soil fell, completely wiping out 10 people's houses in an instant. You can see before our eyes a terrible scene. Soil and rocks piled up and dust covered the entire sky, creating a gloomy and heavy atmosphere. People are running frantically to find a safe place. Screams and cries rang out everywhere. People were trying to escape the chaos and horror of this sudden disaster. It's a dangerous scene, but it's worrying that many people are still carefree, unaware of the approaching disaster. They did not realize that in just a split second, their lives could be at the cost of electricity poles and houses that were swept away by floodwaters and collapsed before the brutal force of nature. A man couldn't do anything as he watched his house float away with the floodwaters. The road before us has been completely buried by giant blocks of rock falling from the mountains continuously. Creates shocking explosions and dust. The fierce water flow, like a giant monster, attacked people living along the shore. Fortunately, many people were able to escape the wrath of the water in time. However, luck does not come to everyone. Before our eyes was a horrifying scene. The bridge over the river could not withstand the force of the water. In front of the eyes of the people, the bridge completely collapsed, breaking into pieces under the brutal pressure of the flash flood. From above, we can clearly observe the brutal force of the floodwaters pulling in with unimaginable force. The scene before my eyes was truly horrifying and haunting. The fierce floodwater flows continuously, eroding the soil and rocks at the foot of the mountain, creating deep and dangerous depressions. From above, large blocks of rocks and debris suddenly fell and hit a car moving at the foot of the mountain. The image of the car being crushed under the weight of giant rocks, turning the car into an unrecognizable pile of scrap metal. Rescue work is facing many difficulties when handling the rubble and searching for people who may still be trapped inside the car. Although the police were present to respond to the disaster, subsequent developments made things even more serious. The landslides continued to occur continuously. Some curious people could not contain their curiosity and roamed around the area, despite the danger lurking right before their eyes. The entire pass route was severely damaged, completely separating the two sides of the mountain. Huge blocks of rock and soil have fallen, making the road unrecognizable and inaccessible. People living in the pass area are currently facing complete helplessness. They cannot return home because the route has been completely isolated. Floodwaters rose and flowed like a natural fury, causing unimaginable destruction. Floodwaters rose and flowed like a natural fury, causing unimaginable destruction. In the distance, four brave men are trying to capture these scary moments with cameras. In the distance, four brave men are trying to capture these scary moments with cameras. They are facing imminent danger, but are still determined to carry out their mission. A group of local people could only stand and watch and pray, hoping that nature's wrath would soon pass. Rushing streams of water poured in constantly, carrying everything in their path. The scene before my eyes is truly unimaginable. Rushing streams of water poured in constantly, carrying everything in their path. The scene before my eyes is truly unimaginable. The moment the house collapsed onto the street, everyone passing by was terrified. The dog was screaming, trying to escape from the pile of garbage. His call for help was saved when a man saw and quickly got the dog out of the pile of garbage.